Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another quick video. All right, y'all, just back with this real quick one here. This video is something I'm going to revisit all the time. If you can see what's going on in this picture right here, then you know what I'm going to talk about. You know exactly what I'm going to talk about. And I actually recorded this video maybe like a month or two ago, but I lost the file, so I'm going to redo it now. So yeah, this video is for boxing fans and MMA fans, of course. And I'm here to talk about one of the most important punches in boxing. What am I always talking about? You know, that jab. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And what better way to talk about it or represent it than put one of the best jabbers in boxing on the main photo right here. You know, one of my favorite fighters of all time, Ronald Winky Wright. And the reason I'm always talking about the jab, man, is, you know, same reasons why coaches that are actually, you know, hands-on with a fighter are telling them about the jab and why they're trying to drill it into their heads, why the jab is so critical in a fight, whether it is mixed martial arts or boxing. You know, the jab is one of the simplest punches in boxing, and it can get you so much. You know, just like it shows you like a good example about a lot of things in life. You know, I think whenever we overthink a lot of we overthink the simple things, it makes it harder for us to get it sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, there's sometimes when I overthink a video or overthink a podcast episode, and the answer is right there in front of me, and then it just flows easier. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes when I'm going left, going right, zigzagging, or I'm looping around, everything is a little bit more confusing sometimes, you know, because I'm trying to overthink it instead of just keeping it simple and straight to the point. You know what I mean? And that's what a jab is. You know, it's simple and straight to the point. It's effective, you know, and that's what I always have to kind of revert back to myself when I'm doing a video or just a discussion thing. Sometimes when I'm trying to zigzag or go around here and there, I'm missing the points. But hey, when I go right back and say, okay, let's go back to the basics, man. Let's keep it straight and simple, I get my point across much better. And that's what the jab is. The jab is the jab is one of the most effective punches in the arsenal because it's straight to the point. You know, what's the simplest way to get from point A to point B? It's a straight line, right? So same thing in boxing. I mean, the hooks are good, overhand rights are good, uppercuts are all good, but when you want to really figure an opponent out, or if you really want to just like feel them out, you just start scoring that jab. Always go straight back to that straight jab, and that's what it's all about, man. Just that jab right down the pipe. That's why I would say Winky Wright's one of my favorite fighters, because it's something he never abandoned. And he's so committed to the jab. He's so committed to keeping it simple and effective that fighters, they don't know what to do. You know what I mean? And it's sometimes same thing in life again. Like, when somebody presents something so simple and effective your way, sometimes you can overthink it and be like, whoa, is it really that easy? You know, it kind of throws you off. And that's why guys like Winky Wright, they were able to dominate for 12 rounds without having to worry about knockouts, because they were so committed to that simple weapon, that jab. You know, he could just jab the hell out of you for 12 rounds. Same with George Foreman, guys like that. Muhammad Ali, you know, they commit to that left jab all night. And guys, they cannot figure it out. You know why? Because they mastered it. They mastered the timing of it. They mastered the angle of it. They mastered the levels they throw it at, you know, the head or to the body. But, you know, all the while, it's still straight. It's still a straight punch. You know, they just kind of throw you off with little finesses here and there, like the head movement, or, you know, like I said, little feints and things like that. They add little spices to it like that. But overall, it's still the same effective weapon. It's still coming at you from point A to point B. And that's why I say, look, MMA fighters as well, it's important, it's critical that they know what a jab is and know how to use a jab. You know, they need to know both of those things. How to throw a jab and why to throw a jab. Let me put it that way. They need to throw how to throw a jab and why to throw a jab. Because if you at least know why your opponent uses a jab, that'll put you one step ahead of the game right there. You know, if you didn't know anything about it before, if you were in the dark about the jab before, at least you can know why an opponent uses it, you know. And that's why I would say, like, a lot of wrestlers out there, wrestlers and grapplers, it's really good for these guys to come into mixed martial arts and learn that jab, you know, to know what a jab is. You know, if they're going to go in and become a mixed martial artist, if you're moving from wrestling to being a mixed martial artist, You know, one of the first weapons you should learn how to throw is a jab. You should really know how to throw that jab, because that jab is going to get you what you need. It's going to get you takedowns. It's going to open you up for, it's going to open your opponent up for right hands and other power shots, and it's going to help you make life so much easier. Because you see some of these other grapplers out here that just like to shoot in for telegraph takedowns. They just like to go in and try to wrestle fighters down, go into the clinch and just keep muscling and wrestling. But imagine if they just pop off a simple jab to the face like 2-3 times throughout the round, and then they feint one jab and then they shoot in for the takedown to get their opponent down. Or what if they feint a jab out and then throw a powerful right hand over the top and they drop that person, and then boom, they jump on them and submit them. You know, that sounds much easier than trying to wrestle somebody down all the time, right? You know, that's why if you go back and look at some of my, actually I'm going to talk about this on my live stream tonight. You know, a couple of my favorite submission wins came by the setup of jabs and right hands. You know, it came by simple striking, you know. So again, the jab is something so simple, but it can get you so many things. And guys like Winky, right, I love the way they mastered the jab. They were able to craft it and make it their own weapon. Like, it looks, you know, he took it to a point where it looks so simple, but there's so many guys out there that can't do it. You know why? Because they're not taking the time out to really to really know when to use it and why to use it in this fashion. You know what I mean? He mastered it for his specific style of boxing. You know, he mastered it for his body type as well. You know, but it all has the same effect. You know, a jab, if every guy learns how to throw it, they can throw it for their body type and their frame and their technique or whatever. They can craft it for themselves, but it's always the same. It's always going to be straight and effective for any fighter that knows how to that wants to master it, though. But yeah, man, what else I want to say? Yeah, the jab, man, like it's used for so many things. I call it the rangefinder and the blinder. You know, the jab is the blinder and the rangefinder. By that I mean the jab can be the punch that blinds them to set up that big right hand, or you know, that left hook you want to throw off the jab, or the right uppercut, whatever. You know, you throw it in their face as a blinder sometimes. You know, you can hit them hard with it, or you can just flick it in the face. You know, rangefinder helps you measure your range. You know, you stick the jab out. If you know how much you can touch the opponent, then you know your range for that right hand, or you know the range for their jab. You know, so it's used for so many things, man. And like when you see fighters falling behind on the cards, and you really look in boxing, you really study it, and you say, oh man, like, what is this guy doing? Like, why is he falling behind like that? You'll usually see why. It's because he ignored that left jab. You know, he's ignoring that right jab. If he's a southpaw, you know, he's not really popping it out there trying to find his range to set up punches. You know, only speedy fighters like Roy Jones and maybe, you know, like Sugar Ray Leonard, they could hook off, either they could lead with the left hook here and there, or lead with the right hand. But the jab is very important for any boxer out there. You know, even some of the boxers where they start to slow down, if they never really worked a good jab, then you'll see that they're almost kind of leave themselves weaponless, if you will. You know, so yeah, man, mixed martial arts, very important for fighters to learn that jab. You know, boxers, strikers, anybody that wants to be in combat sports, it's a very important punch that they need to put together. And again, like I said, even in MMA, I can tell why some of these fighters that are on losing streaks or continue to stay in the same box and never really grow, I can tell why they're not growing. It's because they haven't developed that jab. And people might just say, oh, you talking crazy because that's the only punch you know. Hell no, I know so many other punches, but all these other punches are set up by this one beautiful weapon, that straight jab. You know, that one weapon can get you so much. Just like in life, being straight to the point, being from point A to point B with that straight to the point, it can be very effective. It can get you a lot. You know what I mean? Just being straight to the point can get you a lot in life. And that's what the jab does. But yeah, man, this is something, like I said, I'll revisit more and more. So we'll just call this part one. And sometimes it might sound like I'm repeating myself, but to get good at the jab, that's what you got to do. You got to run drills on it. You know, to get good at the jab, you got to throw it over and over and over and over till you master your technique, or you know, the timing of it. in the angles you want to really work it at, like I said. But yeah, guys, that's all I got on this one. Like I said, this will be part 1, the importance of the jab. So this is for all you fighters in boxing, all you fighters who want to come up in boxing. This is for the MMA fighters, the WMMA fighters, you wrestlers and grapplers. Go to the boxing gym, get you a striking coach, and learn that jab. And when you get that striking coach, make sure he's telling you to throw that jab over and over and over. When you go home, you work that jab in the mirror as well. You go back and you just work it on your own time. You work on it at the gym, but you drill that jab, you drill that left hand over and over and over to get right at it. And that's for all fighters out there. Everybody needs a jab. Everybody needs to learn how to throw a jab. You want to know why? Because in the words of the late, great trainer Roger Mayweather, the jab is the key.